Greetings, demons, and welcome to Warhammer Weekly, episode 96. We don't actually have too much to go over, what we do have is pretty interesting enough itself, so enough preamble, let's get straight into the topics and discuss.
Not the leader of a cult, RabbitWithAxe.
So, to start off, we do have the newest selection of JOYTOY figures, action figures, and this time we are going for Alpha Legion, starting, of course, with Alpharius and or Omegon, and, yeah, the article is a little bit confusing about it because it kind of just ends up saying, oh yeah, Omegon. I don't think realistically it's going to be Omegon. I think it's going to be packaged as Alpharius. I could be wrong. But yeah, very interesting design. Honestly, he looks excellent. A little bit taller than I would necessarily want. They actually make a point of him being, comparable to the other Primarchs that we've had, which is a little bit questionable because he is the shortest by such an extent that he fits in with standard Primaris scale Space Marines. So it's a little bit odd that they're like, oh yeah, he's 7.5 inches tall, which is about the same as the other Primarchs. It's a little bit weird, but yeah, Alpharius, Omegon, whatever you want to say, Alpharius, Omegon, I guess. Looks awesome, looks absolutely excellent, has his spear, has his bolter, just in general just a very good design covered in a bunch of dragon or, lizard or whatever iconography, and yeah, genuinely just a really cool figure, not too heavy on, the accessories and stuff, but it's an okay selection, and, JOYTOY stuff is always good quality, if nothing else, and yeah, very, very cool. We also have the a pretty standard unit. It's a Saboteur Consul, or however you want to say it, Saboteur Consul, and it's just a normal Alpha Legion. I don't know Alpha Legion units very well, but this just looks to me like an Alpha Legion troop, just a regular Space Marine. It looks good, don't get me wrong. I like the helmet design being a little bit knightly, the little antenna and stuff on it. The backpack is pretty good overall. The details in general, very, very nice. You get a bolter, get a tactical knife, stuff like that. Very nice design overall. Once again, accessories a little bit light, a little bit more to it than with Alpharius Omegon. But yeah, honestly, I think both of these look excellent, and they are very good representations if you are a fan of Alpha Legion. I'm a fan of Alpha Legion in general, aesthetically. I've said many a time that I'm almost tempted to paint up my Space Marines as Alpha Legion purely just so I can run them as whatever I want. I feel like that is that a Bricky reference? Is it Bricky from Adeptus Ridiculous made that point, or it might have been someone else. It might have actually been from the Brokehammer, that's what it's called, the Brokehammer podcast. It might have been one of the guys from that wanted to do that because it was a fun concept. But yeah, either way, very, very cool. And then finally, we have a very interesting one, a Leviathan Dreadnought. Really cool to see this, and I know we've seen Leviathan Dreadnoughts from JOYTOY before. This looks excellent. Dreadnoughts in general aren't something I consider to be overly Alpha Legion. I feel like, Alpha Legion being the stealthy sort, don't really use heavy artillery and dreadnoughts and stuff like that as often. But yeah, Alpha Legion colours look really, really good on Leviathan Dreadnought, and yeah, just in general, very cool to see. You get the plasma cannon and the fist and stuff. It's a very nice figure overall, and I think if I was going to get any of them, actually, I was going to say it would probably be the Leviathan. It wouldn't be. It would be Omegon. It would be Alpharius Omegon. Yeah, it would be the Primarch because he looks absolutely excellent, but all these are great, and if you are an Alpha Legion fan, honestly, really, really cool. Leviathan is 9.5 inches, so a solid bit taller than the Primarch himself. And yeah, overall, very, very cool. 28 points of articulation, I think, on all of them, which is pretty good. About standard for high quality, more expensive premium action figures. But yeah, still nice to see. And overall, very, very cool. Very excited to see more from JOYTOY. Every time JOYTOY has a new release, I'm excited for it because they just look so cool. They're such cool figures. One day I will actually get one. I just haven't yet seen something that I'm like, I need it. A lot of them are great. I can't wait to actually get one just to, if nothing else, just to compare it to the ones from McFarlane, because I have McFarlane figures. I have 2 of them. And they're both great, but I understand that McFarlane does not make as good a figure as JOYTOY, so very excited to one day get my hands on a JOYTOY, but yeah, that's going to be it for this topic. Let's move on. And moving over to some 30k, well, more 30k I suppose, we have Heresy Thursday with some Mechanicum heavy support. This time around, we have the Krios Battle Tank, which is pretty cool in of itself. You do have different weapon options if you do so wish. Overall, pretty standard, 40k, well, 30k style tank, nothing too special. It being Mechanicum does make it a little bit more interesting. But definitely that World War I, World War II sort of tank aesthetic, which I think a lot of people do enjoy, but is nothing, in my opinion, all that special. Still looks really cool, a lot of detail, a lot of cogs, a lot of little details and stuff that will be really fun to paint, I'm sure. And yeah, alongside that, we also have the Karaknus Assault Tank, which is a much heavier vehicle. Doesn't look as good, in my opinion, is more of a moving missile launching rack, I suppose. Looks interesting enough on itself, but it's a little bit more boxy, in my opinion, compared to the Krios. So, it is what it is. I think it still looks pretty good. You've got options in terms of how you want to display it, what armaments you want to actually have access to and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, a pretty cool tank. As far as tanks goes, it still looks pretty good, but I definitely prefer the Krios, though, overall. And, of course, these will both be included in the Mechanicum Heavy Support Box, alongside the previously revealed, what even is it called? The Arcuta? Akita? It's something like that. The little mech walker. Very nice selection, honestly. And honestly, this is one of the better selections of, heavy artillery and tanks and stuff that we've seen in a while. I make it pretty clear I'm not the biggest fan of, tanks in, Warhammer in general, but these ones are pretty cool. They're pretty interesting overall, and the elements and everything are, pretty good in of themselves. I'm sure they'll be pretty fun to paint, especially compared to, a Rhino or something. But, yeah, that's really all I can say for them because, yeah, that's all there is. And unfortunately, that leaves us with our final topic for the week, that being the Rumour Engine for the 4th of February 2025. And this is the end of some sort of blaster. It looks like, I can't remember what the slug thrower is that the Mandalorian uses in Star Wars The Mandalorian, but it looks like his gun. It's got a cattle prod sort of end to it. Pretty interesting in a lot of ways. Definitely going to be the end of a weapon. Just don't know whether it's going to be a handheld weapon or maybe the end of a cannon or something on a vehicle. It's kind of hard to say for sure. Definitely looks like something from 40k, maybe 30k. And I'd lean towards Empire of Man more than anything. Maybe Mechanicum and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely an interesting, pretty clean looking weapon end. And I'm very interested in seeing what this ends up being, because it does, as I say, really remind me of The Mandalorian. And if we do end up getting some sort of maybe an assassin or something that has this weapon, that'd be pretty interesting, being able to paint them up as the Mandalorian potentially. That's just what I see when I look at it. So, I'm sorry that I'm just bringing this into a topic about Star Wars, but yeah, definitely an interesting weapon to, see the full reveal of eventually. I like the little striped wire coming off it, or the pipe coming off it. Pretty interesting enough itself, but yeah, overall, that is it for the Rumour Engine. And on that note, that is going to be it for this episode of Warhammer Weekly. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like it, subscribe and enter, and ring that bell so you never miss upload. Otherwise, comment below for feelings on any of the things discussed. Do you like the JOYTOYs as well? I do quite like my Alpharius Omegon JOYTOY. I think it looks pretty good overall. And also, what do you think of the tanks? The Krios, as I say, is the one that I'm more interested in. But yeah, having more tanks that are a little bit different, a little bit less boxy, is always nice. And, Mechanicum stuff never really disappoints. So, yeah. On that note, that's going to be it from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Look at the screen, you'll be fine. Culture's a disease, but worlds survive. I just wanna take